His domestic policies would lead to recession. His foreign policies would make America and the world less safe.
He was a failed candidate. He should have beaten President Obama very easy. He failed miserably, and it was an embarrassment to everybody, including the Republican Party.
A bit of the drama that played out over the last several days, the Republican choice for president 4 years ago, trading blows with today's Republican frontrunner. Mitt Romney trying to throw a wrench into Donald Trump's campaign and drum up support for a candidate he thinks would have a better shot at beating Hillary Clinton in November. Could Governor Romney himself be that person? Well, it would be an interesting question. Neil Cavuto sat down with Mitt Romney just moments ago. He joins me now. As you know, Neil is the senior vice president of Fox Business News, anchor of Your World, and just overall good guy. And Neil, really it's worth pointing out that you were the one that had the first interview with Mitt Romney as he sort of entered the fray here and talked to you about Donald Trump. And since then we've seen this whole evolution. So what did you learn today from your conversation?
Well, it's interesting. He's on a warpath. There's no doubt about it. Some have said he's like a storming Mormon. But it was last week that he first raised this issue on our show, talking about Donald Trump, let's see your taxes. I suspect he said that there's something in those taxes we don't know. Donald Trump says there's nothing in those taxes. That would be the bombshell that Mitt Romney said would be in there. But since then, he's followed up saying the guy isn't as rich as he says, probably doesn't give nearly as much to charity. Again, there's no proof of that. And we've reached out to Donald Trump to respond to that. But the bottom line is, Jenna, that he does not feel, as the former Republican standard-bearer, that Donald Trump would be a proper standard-bearer. It's not just his language, it's his tone, it's the fact that he doesn't really espouse pretty much any of the Republican values, whether you're talking about tariffs or what he said would be a punishing tax code, and one that really would not move the ball forward. So he basically is saying to Donald Trump, he's not us, guys. Now, that has not gone down well with the party, many of whom are skeptical even of Mr. Romney's motives here. It's something I brought up in that interview a few minutes ago, in which I raised the prospect of a brokered convention and maybe what's in it for Governor Romney. Take a look. You don't want Donald Trump to be the nominee. You said that everyone should go ahead and support the candidates who are out there. If it's John Kasich in Ohio, vote for John Kasich, and Marco Rubio in Florida, that you're almost wishing for a brokered convention.
Well, I'd rather see someone besides Donald Trump become the nominee outright on the first ballot.
But what if he does?
If that doesn't happen? If that doesn't happen, then I'd like to see a open convention where there's more give and take between the candidates, and someone else besides Donald Trump becomes the nominee.
You heard what Lindsey Graham said about that, Governor, and he's no fan of Donald Trump. He says that a brokered convention wouldn't be fair to Trump, and that he would leave, and he would have a right to leave.
Well, if he wants to leave, that's fine. Everyone has a right to do whatever the heck they want to do. But in a convention, let's say Donald Trump had 40% of the delegates and the other guys have 30% each, and what does that give us? All right, that's 100%. Right. All right. So in a case like that, you'd say that's 60% that don't want Donald Trump, and totally appropriate for them. Let's say they get together, form a ticket. That's how politics works. People don't have to be afraid of real politics.
A ticket and says, all right, I'm going to put Rubio on it, or I might put Ted Cruz on it.
Hey, if those guys go along with it, that's their right to do it.
And you
that's
would support that ticket?
Look, I'm not going to support Donald Trump as the candidate for president of the United States. No, I'm not going to vote for Hillary Clinton, that's for sure.
So Mitt Romney, the 2012 presidential candidate, would sit out an election?
No, I'm not going to sit out.
What would you do?
I'll either vote for a conservative who runs, or I'll write in the name of a conservative. But I cannot.
That would prevent the Republican nominee, Neil, most likely, from getting.
I cannot, in good conscience, vote for a person who has been as degrading and disruptive and unhinged as I've seen Donald Trump.
But you'd be, in so doing, electing Hillary Clinton.
I'm going to do with my conscience what I believe is right for the country and what I can live with as an individual. And the elements that I've laid out about Donald Trump, with regard, his economic plans will cause a recession. His foreign policy plans would cause us to be less safe and in more danger. And his personal temperament is of such a nature that it would keep America from being as been the shining city on the hill.
Andrew Jackson was an ill-tempered president.
It's been a while. It's been a while. And I probably
But he did okay.
I probably would not have been wild. Donald Trump is a whole new phenomenon, in my view, and other people have different views.
When did this start, Governor? I know it's one thing he says that you were testing the waters yourself for this election year, and the prospect of his entering the race gave you pause?
You know, what was the phrase that Ted Cruz said last night about Donald Trump's association with truth? It's a tenuous association with truth. I looked at this race back in January. It was unimaginable to me that Donald Trump would even enter the race. And that if he did,
but if you knew
successful.
then what you know now, that Jeb Bush and the backers were all glomming to him.
It wasn't Donald Trump. My point is, I didn't think he would become the powerhouse he is. I was wrong.
So we'll never know. What we do know is that he's on the warpath, and there are a lot of robocalls going out in Utah and other states targeting Mitt Romney, not Donald Trump, for the position he's taken.
So it's one thing to be on the warpath, and obviously Mitt Romney does not like Donald Trump. We got that. Headline check. Got it. But why not be more specific about an alternative, Neil? What was your sense of that?
Well, he said that he didn't want to take sides yet. He felt that by inserting himself there, he'd give an unfair advantage or maybe disadvantage to one candidate or the other. He has hinted that after the winner-take-all primaries around March 15th, he might lean to one candidate or the other. Skeptics are saying that he wants a brokered convention and that one that might turn to him. He denies that. But it's interesting that he feels very, very strongly that it cannot be Donald Trump. He feels this actually on visceral moral grounds, that he is not of the moral caliber to be president.
Can't wait to see your entire interview. And Neil, thank you very much. Watch that entire interview with Mr. Romney in its entirety today, noon on the Fox Business Network. You can watch it again 4 p.m. today on Your World, of course.